I cannot hear you. Speak again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm saying you look nice, clean shaven, and speak and
Thank you.
stand.
I worked on my hairstyle in this lockdown. So called footballer hairstyle now.
Ah,
Self done.
nice. Okay.
So let
How
us
is work
start.
going?
Yeah, work is going fine. I think Bihar elections are postponed as of now, as it looks like. So it will happen in somewhere with West Bengal. So on that front, I'm a little relaxed.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we are involved mainly in our core activity is doing demographic research. So there we are just going deeper and deeper in terms of improving our algorithms to give better
Right. Right.
name analysis. Actually, there is in voter list, the voter names. There is lot of spelling errors over there. So because it is based on data entry,
Yeah.
so Yadav, someone would write Yadav as YADV, someone would write YADAW.
Ah,
All these are Yadavs. So in order to gauge that, okay, this is Yadav, there is lot of refinement needs to be done.
yeah. Yeah. The usual issues with Indian data.
Yeah, I think 80% task is data cleaning or
Exactly.
more than that.
I absolutely agree. Yeah. Whenever I get data from Indian administrative data from, say, some government bureaucrat, most of my time goes in cleaning that data.
Actually.
Yeah.
And I have also I'm ordering a few economic related books to once again. I actually after our conversation, I would say last conversation, over the time and like reading your questions also which you have shared. So it has led me towards thinking in terms of having a consistent framework and just using the same framework to collect data at different periods of time or from
Exactly.
different segments.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was one thing that it made me think. So I would like to thank you on that.
Yeah.
And there are two, three things that happened parallelly. One was your questions. So I saw that in your questions you have mentioned that we need to collect the same data for 19, then 15, and then you have added one detailed segment on vendor background,
Right.
which would give us a lot of cuts in terms of what kind of profiling lead goes into what kind of I mean, definitely the primary survey
Right.
results would be used backing on those their demographic details. And then I was also meanwhile going through CPI data, consumer price index, and IIP
Okay.
data structure. So someone in my known contact, my Jijaji, so to say, like he is right now working on government automation projects. So IIP is one of the projects that he is right now doing.
I
He
see.
is a software engineer. So, recently I visited him and he was sharing with me that, month on month, there are some 441 items on which they are collecting data. And every month, it's the same 441 items on which data is collected, and government is publishing their insights on IIP and CPI. So it just, these things led me to think in the direction that having the same structure, rather than innovating each time, we need to have same structure and just, keep filling it with different data points at different periods of time, as well as at different spreads. So,
Right.
and even this
Yeah.
books says the same. Have you read, do you know about Peter Drucker?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Peter Drucker is considered as the this entire millennia executive guru, I mean management guru. He is right now no more.
Okay.
So, but he, anytime you get a time, you must read his book. That, like, this is a very popular book. He was professor at Harvard, and since his active period was from, I think, 1930 till 2000. So he has spent a huge amount of time with the big companies, training the executives at all levels.
Right.
And that's what he talks, that, we keep on looking for multiple attributes in an individual. So rather than that, we should see just if a person is able to do one thing, so that's done. I mean, we should
Yeah.
not look for any other
Yeah.
thing. It all talks of same consistency is what I would say, what I've been over last 2 weeks thinking on. What about you?
My classes will start at the end of this month. So I've started preparing for the teaching part while also working on some research project. So I have a research project. I don't remember if I mentioned this to you. I have a research project where we are looking at Swachh Bharat toilet construction in UP. And we want to see whether male versus female sarpanches provide a different number of toilets in Gram Panchayats in UP. So we scraped this data for the entire UP rural population, toilet provision data at the household level. So we have a really large data set. So you can see who gets this, gets the toilet under when the female sarpanch wins election versus a male sarpanch. So that's the analysis is mostly done. So now we are writing the paper up.
Okay. So, I mean, you need to spend a lot of time in writing the paper.
Yes, I mean not as much time in say the data part, but there is a significant amount of time that is given in writing, because you have to be very careful about say what are the possible questions, ways people can challenge our result, and then sort of anticipating those challenges, we have to give arguments why those are not valid arguments, etc. So that's very important during the writing part. That it's like writing economics papers or even presenting papers, it's like a lawyer presenting his or her case in front of the jury. So the jury being the research community who are listening or reading the paper. So, and the opposition, the opposition are like people who are doubting your work. So you have to always defend your work by giving arguments, by showing additional evidence, etc. So during the writing part, you have to sort of think how should you give the arguments, in what sequence, what you should say first, then comes what is the second thing you should say, etc. So that's requires a little bit of time.
So that is done based on brainstorming, collective brainstorming.
It's done based on, yeah. So if you have co-authors, then that's good. Then because then we can discuss between ourselves, what are the possible ways you can ask a challenge. What happens is sometimes you present, once you finish the analysis, you present in some seminar, then you get a sense. It's like, like during, before the film is screened, they show it to test audience. It's like that. So then people point out, okay, what about this? What about that? I don't understand this point. So then you get a sense, okay, so people have doubts about these issues. So then let's write more about that. So that sort of is the, but lot of it is just us having a judgment about what would be the good arguments to put forward and in what sequence. Yeah.
And this presenting, like right now, so this is between the college faculty or like your friends also?
Presentations.
Yeah.
So presentations, usually we have seminars in each department. So we get invitations to present our work.
Okay.
So then we have to, we wait for, of course we circulate our, suppose we write a draft of the paper initially, then we circulate our draft to people who may think, who have who work on the similar area. So we share the paper with them over email, and once we circulate the draft, then people get to know that, okay, so these guys have this paper, etc. So then some department can invite us to present the paper. We send it to conferences, then we present in conferences also. So then we get a sense of the reactions, and then we revise the draft accordingly.
And like right now there is this COVID time. So as we are doing meetings, so one thought that listening to you is coming to my mind is that, is it that on Zoom also you collect similar people? Like, whether you do it or not, I'm just curious. On Zoom, we can have similar faculty like what we have in department to comment on our work, doing a Zoom presentation with maybe a pan-India. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I mean, my net got disconnected. Yeah, so I was saying that maybe like right now during COVID time, since a lot of physical meeting is not happening, so
Right.
I was thinking that maybe it opens up an opportunity of having similar mindset people who are working in similar area, pan India, or maybe at a bigger scale, and presenting to them, getting their reactions.
Yeah, no, that's true, because all the conferences have moved online, and all the seminars have also moved online. So we are now having a lot of, so usually when we have seminars, we invite the people on campus to present. Suppose somebody from say IIM Bangalore or say IIT Kanpur would come and present. So, but now given that everything is online, we can not only invite people from India but also from outside India. So so that opportunity has opened up, definitely. Yeah.
And even the draft that you have written, so getting the critical feedback and within an informal network. So that presentation, what you were doing maybe in your department or inter-department, can now have a wider audience, probably.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
The peer groups, our
Exactly.
peer groups.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we need to have the questions.
Exactly. Yes. We need to know what we find convincing, what is not convincing, etc. We need some reactions. Yes. So that draft writing, that writing is a little bit longer process. That refinement is a little, it takes a little bit of time before we are confident that we should send it out to journals.
Okay. Okay. So I think is my net. Okay. So let us now come back to our question. Am I audible? Hello. 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 Is my net fluctuating right now? I think my net is not fluctuating.
I think this time I got disconnected for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us come to our.
So, what was your sort of overall reaction to the questions?
Okay. So actually, overall, when I read it, I found that we are moving towards a direction in which we have a consistent framework.
Right.
And in terms of how the election expenditure was done to an individual has catered to how many people within the state and even in the same area to how many individuals.
Right.
And at the same time, you have also asked about their team size, their team structure, ad hoc team versus permanent team, the kinds of offices that they are running.
Right.
To get a sense in terms of their background or bandwidth in terms of catering a person.
And the question was asked about when they started, how many employees did they have? So you can get a sense of growth also. A period of 5-10 years that they're in business, they're growing.
One thing that was coming to my mind while reading it was that this questionnaire may not be, it will be a staged process to get all the data.
Yes.
I agree with you. In one go, if we ask so many questions, then people
they'll not answer. Yeah.
So maybe 2 to 3 to 4 times we need to take their time appointment, and in 15-20 minutes sort of period, we ask them questions.
Yes. I think that's the best way to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I was not sure about, which is, I have the question, but I don't know how to sort of structure the options or everything, which is the question about the volume of the business, because it depends on the product also, right? Because service, then the volume and price will be expressed differently than if it's a pandal making or if it's a banner printing service. So that, maybe that requires a little bit of thought in terms of how to capture that information.
So actually, one thought that was coming to my mind was that we see what happens is that one vendor does not provide all the services. He has few core services, and there are certain services on which he is just a mediator. He helps. He has other vendors who give service via him. So there are a lot of people of this nature also here. So we need to now know which will happen over time as to what are his core services.
Right.
Because like as I and then what are the services? First is what are the total portfolio of services on which he has offered his services to the politician, and then second, amongst all that portfolio, what were his core services on which he has offered,
Right.
and then estimating a volume for both of these की breakup
Right.
कि मेडिएटर वाले में आपका कितना खर्चा आया और इसमें कितना खर्चा आया,
Right. Yeah.
and then secondly, one more thought that was coming to my mind was that at any one area or at any one constituency, uh, we interview all the politicians whom we can.
Yes. 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 We select some constituencies and interview all the politicians.
All the from myneta.info,
Right.
we
Yeah.
asked all of them
Yeah.
as to what were their election expenditures.
Yeah.
Now, then from the vendors, we get a sense. Some would definitely tell us to whom they were catering to in that particular area. So that way we find out a relation that if the politician's total expenditure was Y, and he says that in this specific service he has got X amount of money,
Right.
then what is the gap between the
Yeah.
two? And if we have this kind of data points for, let's say, 10 constituencies,
Yeah.
then maybe we can do an extrapolation, or we can come up with a coefficient.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Coefficient of in terms of distortion in reporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a good exercise. Yes.
And then we can generalize it.
Yes. Yes. And maybe the nature of misreporting depends on the party also. Maybe some parties are much more transparent than others. So you can also break it down by that. You can test whether it is indeed true that some parties misreport more than other parties.
Yeah, absolutely. And here one more factor that can be looked at is that, you know, if we are looking at 10 assembly constituencies, then as a party, the party narrative is same for all of them. So suppose if a party believes that we have to put up a lot of visuals in terms of hoardings, then the same narrative would be passed on to all the BSP candidates who are contesting in different constituencies.
Right.
So there we may find maybe a trend that whatever he is reporting as his election budget and what he is reporting as his expenditure in one particular service.
Yeah.
So same we will find out for different these 10 assembly constituencies, same figures, what are their reportings, and then we try to map it with what the vendors would say for that particular service. So give us a coefficient of distortion.
Yeah. 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 I agree. The other thing is that to find out also, because we will know, say, vote shares of candidates from not only in the constituency but much more sort of polling station level vote shares. Then depending on, we can sort of find correlations between vote shares and expenditure to see whether expenditure indeed bring out votes. And this can,
Sorry, I missed the last point, the vote share thing that you were saying that at polling
Yeah.
stations?
So in the vote share analysis, we can also do, for example, much more granular analysis in terms of which voting group responds more to expenditure, because we can potentially uh, um, we can get this sort of analysis for each, say, for the SC population or for women, etc. For this kind of various voting groups, we can test whether the same expenditure had a larger impact on these certain voting groups who maybe respond more to campaigning.
So maybe you are saying we will do a survey for the voters.
Survey we can do, yes.
Survey means, I mean, just a sampling,
Yeah,
not exactly
sample
a survey.
survey. Yeah, sample survey is possible. I was also thinking, even from the voting data, granular voting data, because we can map which areas have high SC population, which areas have a higher share of women voters, etc.
Okay, okay.
So that way we can also sort of, just from aggregate data we can get analysis. But then you are right to give more voters, sample of voter surveys.
Yeah, true. So maybe for one village we can try that exercise.
Yeah, yeah,
10 villages maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I can try to get some funds to do these kind of surveys.
So, like, if we, how do we go in? If we let us discuss some pointers on funding also. If we develop this kind of project,
Yeah.
then uh, from where all we can get funds and to what kind of funds we can get, so that accordingly we will plan it in the at stage wise level as to
Yes.
yeah, what to do when, so that we showcase, then we attract more people towards it,
Yeah.
so that it's a sustainable exercise.
I agree. So I think, yeah, so I can check from my end what are the possible funding opportunities are there within my university, as well as other sort of more from outside international funders. And depending on what is possible immediately versus what is possible maybe in few more months, or next round of grant proposals that come out from certain organizations, then we can devise the timeline. I am hoping I'll be able to get some funds to start the first phase of data gathering soon enough. So let me talk to some people and then see where we are. And while the funding thing is getting finalized, we can also refine this questionnaire, like, sort of devise it from your end, exactly how we are going to design it. And then you can do a bit of test run to see whether it is working properly.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely. And maybe so we can do with the test runs, we can do, I mean, whatever we discussed as a framework. So in that framework, we could do whatever should be the minimum data points we need to have to test this framework.
Right.
Right. Maybe 10 vendors, whatever we discussed, 10 or maybe 20, so that at least our model should run. I mean, the more data we collect, the finer would be the results. But even before that,
Yeah.
at least we can get a sense on where are we heading.
Yeah. So yeah, so the test run will do two things. One is to check whether the questions are properly phrased so that responses. So that sort of refining the question would be the one exercise. But the second exercise, what you were saying, is to see actually whether there is some pattern emerging. Even with the test of say 20 vendors, we see some pattern emerging. So then we know that there is some action there. So then, or maybe we realize that, okay, as you were saying, maybe intermediaries is an important aspect of their business. So maybe we can add more some questions on intermediaries specifically. So these kind of things we can do. Yes.
Yeah, because that is one challenge that I am facing right now, is that we are expanding in terms of our service offerings. So whatever requirement that we have from a client, so we pass it on to these vendors, as I had shown you, to our vendor bank. Now they say that they can deliver the service because nobody says I cannot. So they say that they can deliver this service. Now then we move towards more deeper rounds of interaction, that okay, if you can deliver, then let us first do the technical feasibility analysis. Let us first get the client's question answered. So there we try to, at first level, maybe I myself ask him questions that, okay, if in this scenario, what will you do? Like, suppose you are saying that you are a Twitter expert. So how can we increase number of followers? What should be our strategy towards posting? What should be our monthly budgets?
Right.
Then can you show me some Twitter handles that you are handling?
Right.
So on those, we start getting no responses from some of them.
Yeah.
So some of them get filtered out over there, and some stay who actually are offering this service.
Yeah.
So that that helps us in long term. Those are the vendors, those are the services where we will give it to those specific vendors who offer, which is their core area.
Right. Exactly.
Because what happens is that during election, since it is a seasonal business for one area,
yeah.
So what happens is that that time when the client is in touch with you and he has taken a service, so he expects complete support from you.
Right.
And it just becomes myself calling and he calling somebody else because he is not the right person, and it is just increasing the delay, like 2 hours from my side, then 2 hours from him, then 2 hours from him. And on all those 6 hours, my team is getting bugged up with calls that why are you responding so late, because election is just 15-20 days window period activity. The last time. So we our policy, what we are right now coming up, is that we will just engage them for their core service. And in first rounds of discussion, they never say what their core service is, because they feel it's a loss in their business. We will not engage them.
So it takes a little bit of time for you to get a sense what their core services indeed are.
Exactly. Some actually giving them problem statements to come up with, revert on the inquiries, and then filtering them that okay, you are not responding, then fine, no problem.
Okay. Yeah. So gathering information is not easy in this case.
Yeah, and also another challenge is that mostly that is in any marketing and sales cycle, that 97% of the inquiries or people are just collecting information. They are not actually buying. They are just getting education, collecting information, just asking you a query for you to answer. Now there is the conversion in all the from all the inquiries is just 2 to 3%, depending on if we are targeting a bigger volume. client, because in our field, everyone asks, I want to become a politician, what should I do? So it is that kind. How can I have my Twitter handle, you know, at par with some of the politician?
Yeah.
Now, then we ask the vendors, because right now we have come to a point that, okay, whatever question that will come to us, we will pass it on. Because our core service is around voter list and demographic analysis. So if those questions are there, we will answer. Rest all we will pass it on. And we don't plan to expand on each vertical of service.
Yeah.
So now we pass it on. So they answer their questions. Now it's not just once that we pass it on. We pass it on multiple times. Everyone is asking, so they are answering, and then it's not converting. So now they are upset. So, that also helps us. If anything is your core area, so you can keep on answering questions. It won't take you much time to revert. But if for something you are putting extra effort to asking 2-3 people and then reverting, so after a point of time, you will stop answering those kinds of queries.
That's a good strategy. Okay.
So it will take definitely a few rounds of interaction with them.
Yes.
And as I see that, in due course of time, we may not have, many respondents. We will have certain segments of respondents from this field who are constantly giving us feeds and helping us in estimating the pattern, expenditure patterns.
Right. Yeah. Is it possible to expand this list that you currently have? Or how hard would it be to expand?
So, yes. I mean, it is possible to expand this list. There is no issue with this. Our initial focus was that Bihar elections were coming, and we thought of offering all the services in Bihar.
Right.
So we were doing our capacity building.
Yeah.
For different sets of services.
Yeah.
So in that spirit, we started this exercise, and right now it mainly covers services in Bihar. So definitely, I mean, we will be, it is like all the states.
Yeah.
And then even it does not have all the services, even though my team says that they are exhausted in finding a new service. So they ask me that you tell me a service, then we will do a search, because we cannot think of a service now which is beyond these lists. Whatever we ask, then it is mostly covered. I mean, the category of service.
Right.
Vendors may be new, but categories aren't much left unexplored.
Right.
So, but yeah, definitely. I mean, on that front, I mean, even I am thinking on how to expand it.
One idea would be, as I think you also mentioned, that one way you initially expanded that list is that from a initial list you got referrals to other people. One way to do it would be to maybe, once you get an initial sense where these 150 firms are operating, this 150 list of people are operating, then you see what areas are not covered. So then maybe you can ask these guys, do you know who provides your services in these kind of regions, in these constituencies, etc. And from that way, maybe a much more focused question can probably help.
So just like give me an example.
So for example, say you look at the constituencies that are mentioned by this current in terms of where they have provided service in 2019 general election. If that covers all constituencies, then you are at least fine that, okay, at least you have covered something in each constituency. But if you see that maybe out of, say, I don't know, Bihar has how 42, 43 MP constituencies.
243 assembly constituencies.
243 MLA constituencies.
MLA and 40 parliamentary.
40 parliament, yeah. So then of these, maybe suppose you see that they mention only about 150 constituencies, list names are coming up from them. So then you know about areas they did not operate in. So then maybe you can ask somebody who has operated in a neighboring area that, do you know who's operated in this area, because we are not able to find anybody from there in your service. Suppose these guys provide digital services, maybe you ask them for digital service for that, the area that is not covered, which is nearby.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. And actually, yeah, this is something which is subject to testing. And hello. 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 Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry. So yeah, I was saying that yes, this could be one way, and also maybe cross services could also help. Like at times, answering question on same service is like them telling about their competitors. So at times they are not willing on that front, because mostly they say that I can offer this in this area also.
Okay.
As it's their core service, but cross service they can definitely say. If somebody is giving hoarding, then if I ask that who can provide cars in this area, in our convoy of so they can say that this person.
That's also a good strategy. Okay. So let me inquire. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I was also like this. I was thinking that in this questionnaire. So one way was also that first we focus on the different regions. Region wise, we see that we have all the vendors for all kinds of service. Do we have vendors? Then first, like there are these 9 administrative regions, which are nearby. Then first, once the administrative regions are covered with vendors for all services, then we move towards districts. So there are 38 districts. And because one person, if a person is in district, so generally he covers the whole district. He he meets everyone, because the politicians stay at the town level or at the city level. So their houses are not very far away from each other. So any person who is offering a service in a district, so he generally meets all of them. As a sales activity. So that way we can stage-wise move. First, we will see that all administrative units are covered. Then
Yeah.
the different districts are covered.
Yeah.
So this is one approach. And at the same time, if we zero down with some sampling, maybe that, you know, in these regions, we are focusing on these assembly constituencies for which we need to generate data.
Right.
Then that would also give us a direction in that, okay, we need to focus on these areas first.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So one thought that was coming to my mind was that we have covered 150 vendors. So let us start with a general outcome. Let us go backwards. Let us see what outcome do we want to showcase, and then see what should be the attributes to answer this outcome, and then see, do we have those attributes fulfilled? If not, then what additional information do we need?
Right.
And then we gather those informations.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, one would be to get this relationship between to get a sense of how important are these expenditures in terms of winning elections or getting votes. So that's sort of one relationship that would be good to get a sense of. And the second would be to understand how large is this economy, to get a sense. During election, there are all these services that are getting provided. So as you mentioned, it's a seasonal thing for many of these firms. So to get a size of this election economy, because that itself will be a nice thing to say that we have estimated this is the overall size, even if it is for just one state, because nothing has been happening, like there is no work like this on this area. So even for one state, it will be illuminating that if you can estimate using this some kind of generalization based on random sampling, etc. So, I mean, these two would be sort of the two broad outcomes that would be interesting to look at.
So one is size of election expenditure, and then second, what did you say?
Sorry?
One is size of election expenditure for a state, and then second, what did you say?
Second is that how important is election expenditure to get votes. So the relationship between election spending and winning elections or votes. So the election expenditure thing, it will also give us a sense of the economy in the sense that how many people get employed because of this election. So that's also an important aspect of elections to get a sense of that. These guys, a lot of these guys work or get a lot of work during elections. So this many workers get paid money because of election campaigning. So that's also an important aspect of the economy that this kind of study can shed light on.
Okay, so what should be our next step?
Yes, so I think next stage would be for me to try to get some funds to sort of do all these kind of help you guys on the project, uh, and simultaneously, I guess, start refining these questions by doing test runs a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so that is fine. Uh, Now, okay, so tentatively to pitch for funding, what do you need? Or to get a sense or feeler on what kind of funding would be generated, or for anywhere if you have to showcase that you need fund for this project, what do you need?
Um, it depends on the, where I'm applying for funds. If I can manage to get anything from within the university, my university, I think I can write stuff on my own. I'll share it with you, of course, but you don't have to share any additional information from your end. Uh, as long as I say that we are developing this project, and uh, you are connected with the vendors, and you are already in the process of data gathering. So we have to give a sense of the project details, but nothing in terms of numbers or anything. Within the department or university, because I am a faculty, it's relatively easy. But if I apply from outside, then maybe some initial sort of data gathering exercise, some details, nothing, nothing specific. Overall, that you have managed to contact 150 firms, that covers a large part of the state that is going up for election, etc. So these, very broad details. I think that should be sort of fine for proposal, unless they ask something even more specific. Usually they don't ask very detailed stuff, but they ask our plan of the plan of action, in terms of what we want to do. We want to survey the vendors, then maybe for a random sample of constituencies we want to survey the politicians, or some voters in some villages. So these plan of actions that we have to give, so those are the details we will need. Uh, but then let me first find out what are the opportunities for that kind of funding, and then we can develop a proposal based on those possibilities.
Okay, so if let us discuss both the scenarios. If you are asking for funding within the university, so then what kind of volume of funding do you get, or
I
tentative?
would say, I would say few lakhs. So say, maybe at max I'll get 5 lakhs, but not more than 5 lakhs, less than 5 lakhs.
And this 5 lakh is a one-time fund, or is it a monthly some kind of division, or
No, if I manage to get it, I'll get it right away, like one time. Then I can spend it whatever I can. There are some restrictions that I cannot travel internationally using that fund. Like those kind of restrictions are there, but otherwise it's fine. Like I can spend it.
okay? And if if it is from outside of university, so there,
Then the funding potentially could be larger. So depending on, so there we have to do a proper budgeting, because then they'll ask for a very detailed budget, that what are the possible heads under which we will be spending money, etc. So there we can be a bit more ambitious in terms of the scale of the project. Uh, uh, yeah.
and okay, so uh, now this outside university, is it within India or outside India?
Within India, I don't know if there are a lot of most of the funding opportunities that I see are from outside India that usually give money for governance projects or developing countries related projects. The funding sources are from outside India. Yeah. One possibility is that we can collaborate with somebody from outside, some US university or university in Europe, who have access to funds of their own and who are experts on these kind of subjects. Then that's sort of another way of going about it. Who's also a researcher like me, but I know we know each other. Let's say, I can contact some people in some of these universities in US or Europe, and then we can jointly fund this project.
Okay. And okay, so now, so it is the second thing you are saying is for a university, and there can also be funding agency which is not a university.
Right. Yeah. There are these. So there is one center, for example, International Growth Center. They fund. It's based in London School of Economics. It's funded by the UK government. It gives funding for research in developing countries. So they periodically give grant proposal request.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes, sir. Good. Yes. Yeah. So you were saying about International Growth Center.
So the International Growth Center, or IGC, every year they come out with some request for grant proposals where researchers submit these proposals and then they get grants based on that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now our next target should be to close on one of them
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now, what is the likelihood of the funding you see from university or getting the funding from university? What is the likelihood?
So I don't know. I would be much more confident if the COVID thing hadn't happened. But
If what?
if coronavirus hadn't happened,
Uh-huh.
then the answer would be close to a yes. I would get the fund. But now that with all this, because of the pandemic, now there is a lot of universities are kind of cautious in releasing money. So I have to ask my department head if this is possible, and let's see. There is scope for funding. I just don't know whether this year they are giving out that kind of a funding. So that only my department head can tell me. So let me approach him and see if there is anything there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And regarding outside university, like as you said, collaborating with somebody who is in a university outside India
Right.
which already has a department. So, is there anyone you know of?
I know some people, yes. There is a friend of mine in Virginia, University of Virginia School of Business. who would be interested in a project like this. There is somebody in University of Southern California, but we have to first find out whether they have sources of funding that we can use, and then then we can collaborate with them possibly. So let me first reach out within my department and then reach them out as well. And then sort of that will give us a sense of possibilities.
Okay. So one thought from my side
Yeah.
is that maybe we can prepare a two-pager report
Yes.
in terms of what we think of achieving, and we also have a data set right now.
Correct.
We have collected information from 150 vendors, and there are services here which are covered. It's for Bihar, and we know we have some sense on what kind of volumes that they have offered their services.
Right.
So using this information, we can come up with pivot table kind of reports, some flash reports, so that when they read the two pagers, it would make it vivid sharing for them as to this is where we are heading towards.
Yeah. I think we should. The two-pager would be like the proposal that we would be making in terms of where you want to go, and then the report could sort of give details in terms of what you already have.
So this document would be like a one-time effort from our side, preparing it, and then it would be used across for all our marketing activity of generating funds.
Yes, that's right. Okay, sounds good.
And it will be very easy to collaborate also wherever you are writing. There is a ready document for them to refer to, which would, along with an email, add value in terms of there is already a background work that has gone into it.
Yeah, exactly. And just to sort of make things explicit, is in this project, whatever research output that comes out of this project, you will be a co-author on this. I mean, for sure. I mean, you are an integral part of this project. So just to make it clear from my end.
Okay, thank you. And also, if we do any kind of research and data collection, then if Janata Ka Mode should be recognized. That
yes, definitely. Yeah.
As a company, we are doing this kind of service, and we also can publish it on our website with, rights to both of us. Simultaneously, so that we can also present it that we have been associated with you and we are doing this, and you also similarly.
Absolutely. Not a problem at all. Okay, great. Let me send some emails and then get back to you on within university funding, and then we can start preparing this one two-pager proposal. So you said you are already preparing a report from your end, right?
No, I am not preparing a report, but what I said was that we can.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
We can definitely, since there are already vendors, there are already services, there are already the spectrum where they have provided the services. The initial data points, already a 3 months work that we have done in this regard. It's there. So, it would help them also visualize the project better, see it moving in a direction.
Right. Yes.
And I am hopeful that we would get all kinds of fundings that we have discussed.
Yeah, I'm also hopeful actually, because this is new kind of work, so they people would appreciate.
Yeah, and this kind of data is like not both of us. I mean, I have not come across.
Yeah, me neither. Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so right now from my side, there is nothing to do,
Um,
or the questions that you have shared, I can connect with few of the vendors to get information on that front.
right.
That is one task that I see.
Yeah. And you can maybe start like, preparing maybe some charts or graphs with the existing data that you have,
Okay, yeah, that
like the set of services provided, etc., areas covered.
areas covered, the vendors, number of vendors, some
But
insights on using this
right.
data.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would start doing that.
Okay. Okay.
So done, done, done. When should we again connect?
Um, maybe so let me just check the dates. So maybe in 2 weeks.
Okay,
In between, we can talk over emails, and whatever response I'm getting, I can let you know.
done. We will exchange our preparatory work that we have discussed right now.
Yeah,
And on email, we'll keep exchanging that and then connect in 2 weeks' time on
sure,
what has
sure.
an outcome.
Okay, this is
Done.
great.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, bye.